Yo, what's going on, everyone? Keeping on the trend of the iPhone XR camera comparison, I think this is the last one I'm going to do. I might do one more on the iPhone SE versus the XR's camera, but this is one of the last ones. And it's kind of sad because the further and further we go, the more differences you see. Between the 6S Plus and the XR, there wasn't really too much difference. The 7 Plus even. The 8 Plus, there really was no difference, I'll be honest. The same goes with the 10, but the 6 Plus, after I took these photos and everything, I noticed how crazy the differences are between these generations. I mean, there's like a 4-year gap between these phones, and some people might say, oh, the new iPhones, they're barely even an improvement, this and that. I kind of say that same thing too, but this is kind of one of those examples of how much, a phone can improve, and you don't really notice it unless you put things side by side. Now, the iPhone 6 Plus has an 8 megapixel camera. The iPhone XR has a 12 megapixel sensor. They both have single sensors, so they're not dual camera setups or anything. The iPhone XR, I will tell you right now, if you guys already don't even inference it by now, the XR has a much better camera sensor, and you'll be able to see from these photos. Now, another big difference between these cameras is actually the XR can shoot 4K videos, where the 6 Plus cannot, so that's a humongous difference between them. But let's just jump into the photos. Let's just jump into it. Looking at the first photo, now you're not going to believe me when I tell you this, but I didn't change the brightness on any of these photos. These are all stock. I literally hovered the camera over automatic settings. I didn't even touch the screen, and I let it hunt for whatever it wants to hunt for, and I just took the photos. And you can see from this first photo that there is so much of a difference. We have the iPhone in the center, okay, and honestly, I kind of like how the screen looks on the iPhone 6 Plus, like the actual screen of the phone. But the iPhone XR photo, I mean, it just overall is just a much more even photo. It wasn't even that dark outside. It was probably way more of the iPhone XR lighting condition than the iPhone 6 Plus, and that's a pretty big difference between them. The iPhone XR did a much better job at evening the photo, like I said. And even if you look in the top right corner, you can see that the 6 Plus's photo on the top right corner is completely dark. You probably couldn't even tell what was in that corner. But once you look at the iPhone XR photo, you can see, oh, there's like grass or something there. So you're missing out on a lot of a photo. Where on the iPhone, if you go with an iPhone 6 Plus, now if you probably go and up in the brightness and the exposure, you could probably kind of mimic it a little bit, but it's not going to be even. The screen's going to look way too bright and things like that. I didn't change the brightness between these photos either, so I think that's pretty crazy and a humongous point to the iPhone XR in this example. Now, this next photo kind of showcases the same exact thing too. Now, this is kind of a further photo, so you don't really notice too much of a difference. If you have like a keen eye, that's the first time I've ever seen keen out loud, you can probably tell that there's a little bit of difference, like the top left, the little like ceiling part, it looks a little bit lighter on the XR, but overall the clouds and everything, even the tree looks a little bit lighter. But once you actually do zoom into the photo, that's when you start to see a lot of the differences. It just seems like on the XR you're able to see much more of what's going on. The trees look a little bit more vibrant. On the 6 Plus, it looks just like a little bit washed out, so that is kind of like a kind of sad thing. And overall, I just think the XR photo looks much, much better. In outdoor conditions, I mean, it's really hard to tell differences between them. I know you guys want me taking way more photos outside, but one, I'm lazy. Two, you don't really notice that much difference sometimes. Other cases you do. In a case like this, I mean, this is an outdoor photo, and you can tell quite a bit of difference. You can easily tell the XR is better, but there's also some other cases where indoor photos can tell you a much bigger difference. And looking at the next photo, this is actually indoor one, and this is a horrible example because there's really not too much of a difference between these two exact photos. The biggest one, and I've noticed this with every single XR photo I've taken with this, is actually with the desk in the background. So you can see that on the iPhone 6 Plus, it looks a little bit darker around the sides of the grass roots, whatever that is. On the iPhone XR, you can see it's a little more lightened up, so it's not as dark. Same lighting, I didn't mess with the lightings, you guys are going to keep saying it, but once I actually did zoom in into the grass itself, I didn't really notice that much of a difference either. Now, I could probably tell that the XR photo was better, but honestly, I can't even notice that much of a difference, I'll be honest. And I'll go ahead and I'll switch them real quick, and I'll just put them different places, I'll swap them around, whatever. I want to see if you guys can tell me which one is actually the iPhone XR photo and which one is the actual 6 Plus photo. And I'll give you guys 10 seconds, okay? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, 10 seconds are up. The photo on the left is actually the iPhone XR photo, believe it or not. So you probably can't tell that much of a difference. This is an indoor photo. This is kind of not even that good of an example, but sometimes you can mimic certain settings and certain ways a photo looks by just moving them around, I guess. So in terms of this photo, I'm going to give it a tie. I really wish the iPhone XR was better because, I mean, I'll tell you right now, the XR is the better phone overall, but in terms of this photo, they look pretty even. Now, this is another photo where, I will still give the edge to the XR, but the iPhone XR did a kind of a weird thing here. You can see that kind of rainbow effect on the screen. I don't know why they did it like that. it really looked like to me that was kind of a weird thing. I feel like the iPhone 6 Plus should have done something like that. But I mean, even in terms of both, you can just see that the 6 Plus photo just looks way darker around the sides, and it's kind of a weird thing too. I mean, the iPhone XR does have smart HDR. I think the iPhone 6 Plus has regular HDR or whatever it is. But if you look on the top right corner as well, you can see that the grass on the iPhone XR photo looks brighter. Even though if it's not that bright, it just looks like the 6 Plus does not know what it's doing when there's like some darkness in the background or even some light. I mean, like I said, it wasn't even that dark outside. It was like eveningish time. It wasn't like daylight, but it was like, pretty decent. You could still like go jogging or something like that. As you can see from the time, it was 5:20. So I think that in terms of the overall photo, again, the iPhone XR did a better job here, but I feel like the iPhone 6 Plus might have done a better job in terms of the screen. It just seems like it's always like making the screen look good, but the rest of the photo not look good. Now this next photo is one of a Rubik's Cube, and this is another one of those photos where I don't really notice that much of a difference. Even zooming in, you probably won't notice that much. I mean, every photo you take on a phone is going to look different. I could probably take the same exact photo on the same phone and get two different images that look in the same location. They can look completely different sometimes. So I'll definitely say that in terms of this photo, they look pretty much the same. And this was an indoor photo as well. Maybe the desk in the background looks a little bit brighter on the XR, but really not too much of a difference again. Now this next photo is actually very, very interesting. This kind of shows, this kind of gives you a better idea of how much light was outside because there was enough light. It wasn't like I was taking photos in midnight. But you can see that not only does the wooden grain of the white patio leaning thing, whatever that is, the wooden part, not only is that much more realistic and much better looking on the iPhone XR, it wasn't that yellow. Like it looks way dirtier. It looks like you need to pressure wash that thing. But look at the can itself, the can is just way more vibrant, way more detailed on the iPhone XR, where the 6 Plus is just so grainy. You can tell like it does not look like that good of a photo. It looks very yellowish. And if you look in the back, in the grass part, you can see that the XR photo looks, I guess, way more detailed and looks way more like HDR in a way, if that makes any sense, than the iPhone 6 Plus photo. It looks way more like lighter. And if you zoom in actually into the top of the can, you can see there's quite a bit of difference. The can on the left on the 6 Plus just isn't that good looking. The XR, you can see that it is much better looking. It looks like we took this on like a $45,000 camera, you know what I mean? No, I'm just kidding, but you can tell that the grass is much less grainy on the XR. You can see that the can looks way more detailed and sharp as well. So in terms of these, I wasn't expecting this much of a difference, but it's pretty crazy that this is the case. Now that was a pretty different photo. Now I have to show you a photo that really wasn't that much different, and this is a perfect case of that. It looks like it's the same exact photo, just put on the other way, but it's a photo of a screen. What more do you want? There's really not that much of a difference in terms of the case of this. But I know there is a lot of differences between these cameras, and this is just like a bad example. I've just stopped doing photos like this. It makes no sense. Now this next photo is actually super, super interesting. It's another photo outside, and there's a lot to pick out here. Okay, obviously the tree looks much more sharp, much more like green on the iPhone XR than the 6 Plus. If you look at the sidewalk actually as well, it looks like way more grayish on the 6 Plus, way more like lifelike on the XR. If you look at the grass, honestly, I kind of like how the grass looks on the 6 Plus. It looks more sharper, but the XR is way more accurate to how the grass looks outside. The XR is basically what it looks like. So I'll definitely give the edge to the iPhone XR in this case, but going one step further, let's go ahead and zoom into that tree. You can just see how much sharper it is on the iPhone XR and the 6 Plus. It just looks way too grainy. It doesn't look that good at all. The asphalt in the back, if you look at the parking lot, it looks pretty decent, but the trees, man, completely, they're not even close. The iPhone XR beats this thing out of the water. Now this is kind of a strange photo. You might look like and be like, oh, why did you even take this photo? The main reason I wanted to do it was to show you how like low light kind of handles it. Now this was kind of later on in the day. You can see that the photo, they both look really, really bad. But the iPhone XR, I think, did a better job at just kind of making it less grainy. And so I would definitely, again, give the edge to the iPhone XR in this case. Now this next photo is another one of the iPhone X screen. And you can easily tell, I was kind of giving the edge to the iPhone 6 Plus the whole entire time when taking photos of the screen. But the iPhone XR did a better job here. You can see that not only does it, make the screen look pretty vibrant and make the colors look really good, but you can actually see the patio on the bottom and the wood on the bottom, where on the iPhone 6 Plus, you can't really see it. You kind of have to like squint your eyes a little bit, and the XR just makes it look way more vibrant. The wood, again, looks really, really good. So I'll definitely say that the iPhone XR, again, looks much better, but I will say one interesting thing. The 6 Plus seems like the wallpaper on the back, like that color of the mountains or whatever, I think it's way more accurate. I think that's the color of what the wallpaper is, or at least more accurate to it than what the XR is. Because I feel like the iPhone XR, that color is kind of like bluish. The 6 Plus is like kind of darkish. I feel like it's way more accurate to that. Now this next photo is one of the 6S Plus. Not that much of a difference. Again, the desk kind of looks a little bit better in the background. You don't really see too much of it. The phone also was a little bit less dark on the iPhone XR, so again, I'll probably give the edge to it there too. So overall, I'll probably give the edge to the iPhone XR in this example as well. Now this last photo is actually pretty interesting. This is probably one of the most important photos. It's a little bit of everything. You see a little bit of the grass, the tree, the phone itself, the screen, and outdoor lighting, and you can tell 100% fact that even if you had any assumptions that these phones were comparable at all, they're really not. The iPhone XR does a much better job in not only taking the photos, but evening the colors, making the grass pop, making colors pop. And this was the same time of day. I mean, if I looked at the 6 Plus photo, I would probably assume I took that photo at, like, without looking at the time, I'd probably say I took it at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, like it was probably pitch black outside. But on the iPhone XR, you can see that it's way more. I could probably say it's like 2 or 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock maybe. Like, that's how crazy this lighting is on the iPhone XR. And like I said, no extra settings. I just had Smart HDR on. I didn't put any filters on it or anything like that. And this really goes to show, I mean, they're both iPhones. They're both made by the same company. But this is more so, it's not like hating on the iPhone 6 Plus. It's more so showing the progress. You know, I would consider them the same phones. You know, it's like if you say good things about the iPhone XR, you're kind of saying good things about the iPhone 6 Plus in a way, because it's like its older brother or whatever. I'll kind of say the same thing about, like, if I said good things about your mom, right? You would kind of be happy about it. You know, you'd be like, oh, okay, that's kind of nice. It's kind of the same thing here. You know, it's not like I'm bashing on the iPhone 6 Plus. I'm saying good things about the iPhone XR. But with that being said, nobody should buy an iPhone 6 Plus camera. No, I'm just kidding. So in this case, I'll definitely say that the iPhone XR is a winner here. Again, I think the iPhone 6 Plus had a time and day, but definitely in this case, I would give the edge to the iPhone XR. You guys can easily tell how much of a better camera it is and how much better it is at taking photos and everything. So I hope this answers your questions. If you guys have any other questions about this iPhone XR or anything like that, if you want to see another comparison, leave it down in the comment section below. Do you think the 6 Plus is a worthy competitor? I'm not trying to hate on it. Like I said, I'm just trying to show you guys. I mean, I had the 6 Plus as my main phone for a while. If you guys want, I'm going to do another camera comparison between the iPhone XR and another phone that's probably dropping tomorrow or the day after, and that probably will conclude my camera comparisons of the XR. So it's been a long ride. I did a lot, but I can't wait to top it off with the last one. So hit the like button if you guys enjoyed the video, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber we get really does count, so it'll mean so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel that is also linked down below. I would really appreciate if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.